If the record now playing on the jazz program is really Louis Armstrong, recorded in concert in 1989, as the announcer said, then Louis Armstrong was playing some of the best jazz of his career years after his death. Of jazz, okay. Since the trumpeter was definitely Louis Armstrong, somehow the announcer must have gotten the date of the recording wrong. All right, so what is our conclusion?
The announcer has the wrong date.
Yes, all right. And so, and then what is our argument structure here?
He was dead. Oh, argument structure. Okay, that's where I'm losing you. Argument structure. He must.
So what do we do in that first sentence?
So it's if the recording, if it is the recording playing is actually the name of the disc, like Louis Armstrong recorded in concert in 1909, then he was playing some of his best music.
After his death, yep. So we're saying like, hey, if this crazy thing is true, or like if this is true, then he must have been doing it after he died. Since the trumpeter was definitely A, so since A is really true, like the announcer must have been wrong about B. Or something like that. Like don't look at this as like conditional statements, but essentially like we're saying like, hey, if A is true, then B must have happened. Since A really did happen, like that's not possible. So B like can't be. Like this other like A must be wrong. Oh, actually, I have a better way of how I would draw this. I think what we're doing here is saying like, hey, if A, which is if it is really Louis Armstrong, and the announcer is right, then Louis Armstrong must have been dead.
No, he must be alive.
Or alive. Yes, alive. Sorry, thank you.
Okay.
Since it's definitely A, what was B?
Then the last one, the latter, then C. If
Yeah.
it's definitely him, so he must have gotten the date wrong. Wait a minute.
Yeah, so B is wrong. Yeah. Okay, cool. Essentially, yes, in the careers after his death. So he was alive. Yeah. Okay. It's the same structure. Never mind. I thought I got clever and I didn't. All right. So what argument could we come up with to parallel this?
No, for me. It's close, but no.
What about like if
I was thinking like if Sarah passed her driver's test on May 15th, as the card says, or the license says, then she did some great driving.
Okay.
But it's like the after his death part that.
Oh, what if we did this? What if we said, if Sarah passed her driving test in 1989, as her driver's license said, then she
must have been a baby.
The best driver of all time because she would have been 3 years old.
Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah.
Sarah definitely is old enough to have her driver's license. The license must have printed the date wrong.
Yeah,
perfect.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with A.
Okay.
I skipped. Information that they got wrong was different than like the other one.
Right.
Like our stimulus.
Right. And just because they got the wrong, just because they called him a painter instead of I mean, a sculptor,
Yeah.
not a painter, that doesn't negate that they acquired this information.
Yeah, like I don't like how they're saying that. So the report must be wrong about the acquisition being a
Right.
painting. Like it could still be a painting.
Right.
Maybe it should say like, so the report must be wrong about the name of the artist. That I would like more than this answer.
Mhm.
Awesome. All right, what about B?
Oh, I don't like this one.
Yeah, the painting is this only if it can be in two museums at the time. Since this isn't possible, this must be mistitled. Like what? No, that's stupid. Moving on.
Can you move it up?
Yep. What about C?
Thank you.
Only if the 20th century-
What are we thinking?
I guess I'm trying to read everything. If 20th century. Because yeah,
Yeah, we're saying like, hey, if this
it is.
painting,
Right.
so if this painting painted in Japan during the 17th century,
Mhm. If this, because he was there, he in the 20th century meant that he was there.
can
And
this
then-
work
But
be
he could, yeah.
by Frida Kahlo as labeled and the 17th century Japanese landscape? It appears to be. Since it is what it appears to be, the label must be wrong because it can't be both of those things.
Only if the
So
20th
only if it was a 20th century Mexican artist painting in Japan during the 17th century can this work happened. Since,
it can't happen.
yeah, so the label must be wrong.
Right.
I like that. All right, and then D says, unless KK was both a sculptor and a printmaker, the volunteer museum guide is wrong in his attribution of this sculpture. Since what K is known for is her prints, the guide must be wrong. Unless both. Well, just because she's known for her prints doesn't mean that she is not a sculptor and a printmaker. So I don't like D. He says, if this painting is a portrait done in acrylic, it cannot be by EVL since acrylic paint was developed only after her death. Thus, since it is definitely a portrait, the paint, yeah, that's not what we're like. We're not saying something's wrong. Like, hey, since it's definitely a portrait, the paint must not be acrylic.
Huh.
And this, since it is definitely a portrait, the paint must not be acrylic. Like, how do we even know if it's EVL or not? No. All right, cool.